What's up guys, welcome back to my channel. I'm Iyanu and today I'm going to be going over the essays that got me into Harvard and Northwestern. So I'm going to basically read over my essays, rate them, and then give some tips for you guys for the upcoming application season when writing your supplementals. The first essay I want to go over is actually a Harvard supplemental. This is one of my personal favorites. The prompt reads, briefly describe an intellectual experience that was important to you. And it was a 200-word limit, so it wasn't like a long essay, you know, just some. So I wrote, 2 summers ago, I worked at my neighborhood McDonald's. I was taking orders on the headset, and a Spanish-speaking customer came through the drive-thru. Having to ask for assistance from my bilingual coworker, I froze in embarrassment. As the foreign syllables left their lips, I promised myself to learn Spanish so I'd never have to rely on someone else to converse on my behalf. Day by day, I listened to how my coworkers responded to Spanish requests for fast food. Bienvenidos a McDonald's. Número 4C con papas chiquitos y café mediano. ¿Algo más? Gracias. Primera ventana, por favor. Over and over, these phrases danced around my brain. Pretty soon, they weren't spoken from the lips of others, but rather my own. My managers and customers marveled at my newfound abilities. After this experience, I knew that dedicating a portion of my education to becoming fluent in Spanish was necessary. As an inspiring psychiatrist, the ability to effectively communicate with patients whose first language is not English would prove extremely helpful. Through Harvard's Spanish courses and immersive study program, I hope to recreate that moment at McDonald's. Round of applause. Now, I thought I cooked. That was pretty fire to me. So we're gonna go over, paragraph by paragraph, say what I liked and what I would change. So I start off, 2 summers ago, I worked at my neighborhood McDonald's. I was taking orders on the headset, blah, 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 blah. I'm setting the scene, and I want you to realize, they said briefly describe. So this is not for you to spend half the essay to say something that's meaningless, like you want to really get to like the meat and potatoes. I took just the first 2 sentences to lay the floor, lay the setting, and then the rest of it is really the intellectual experience. And I think that's important because oftentimes like we write and we just write fluff. They don't want to see fluff. They want every word, every one of those 200 words to be very important. As the foreign syllables left their lips, I promised myself to learn Spanish so I'd never have to rely on someone else to converse on my behalf. I'm already promising to learn something. That already shows that I'm ambitious to learn. Like, admissions officers, they're gonna love that. They're gonna love that. I would say definitely show your curiosity and eagerness to learn in all your essays. Ultimately, if that's a part of your personality, they're gonna want you on campus because you're gonna wanna learn, grow, innovate, and give back to their campus, which is a pretty big deal. Day by day, I listened to how my coworkers responded to Spanish requests for food. And then, bienvenidos a McDonald's, número 4C con papas chiquitos y café mediano. Algo más, gracias, primera ventana, por favor. So, with that being said, speaking about different languages or different formats, one thing that one of my teachers told me that was really important is that when you write something in a different language or when you write something in like a different dialect or something like that, make sure that it's proper accents, proper punctuation, everything proper, because you have no idea who is looking at your application from the other side. You'd be like, oh, they won't know that I missed this accent mark on this A, and all of a sudden it's someone who's a native speaker of that language. They get all excited and you mess up their language. They're like, get a load of this guy. Decline. You don't want to do that. So I made sure to put my stuff in Grammarly, ask my friends who spoke Spanish and made sure everything was correct. I made sure to cover my bases on that. Over and over, these phrases danced around my brain. Pretty soon, they weren't spoken from the lips of others, but rather my own. That's gas! That's gas right there. First off, these phrases danced around my brain. That's really like personifying like my language. They weren't spoken from the lips of others, but rather my own. That shows the growth that I had from the beginning of embarrassment to now being able to speak another language and interact with others who speak that language, which is pretty fire, which is an intellectual experience. After this experience, I knew that dedicating a portion of my education to becoming fluent in Spanish was necessary. And then I wrote about how, as a psychiatrist, it's great, even in healthcare in general, it's great to be able to converse with others who don't speak English, yada, yada, yada. Beginning of the story, laying the setting. Middle of the story, how I grew. End of the story, connecting it to how I'm gonna use their education to benefit me and my community. That's fire, and that's what you need to do. So, I rated the McDonald's essay 8.5 out of 10. Now we can go on to my Northwestern Paint the Rock essay, and this was also another one of my personal favorites. Basically, Northwestern has this tradition where they have like a rock in the middle of their campus, and I think it's every night or every week, like someone can paint it, and it's like a new symbol or a new design or new like quote on the rock every single night. So basically, the prompt was asking, what would you paint on the rock, and obviously explain why. So this is what I wrote. At the Northwestern rock, I would paint the phrase, "It's okay to not feel okay." I would accompany this mantra with a large group of dark purple smiley faces and one light purple frowny face among the others. I believe in the importance of validating well-being rather than ignoring one's struggles to fake a sense of positivity. The frowny faces on the rock would indicate that it's okay to struggle with mental health, depicting the reality of many students. However, the surrounding smiley faces would represent the loving, caring, and optimistic school community that would aid any individual during their time on campus at Northwestern and every step of the way beyond college life. On the rock, this mantra can serve as a reminder to all Northwesterners that hardships and negative emotions are valid, but fellow peers, faculty members, and the school community are there to help them along the journey of education, life, and their overall well-being. Now that was also pretty fire too. I have only one thing that I didn't kind of like about it, but I'll say that at the end. So basically, I start off, the essay. At the Northwestern rock, I would paint the phrase, "It's okay to not feel okay," and then I put this vision in their mind of what I'm thinking. And with these types of essays that maybe ask you to like explain why, or explain something that you created, or just in general explain something that you are creating, that type of essay, I think it's very important to paint an image in the reader's mind. If you suck at that, get better at that. Learn how to use your adjectives well. Learn how to speak strongly and use your words very strongly. Don't just like jumble a bunch of words together. I made sure to have my words hold weight. And I can assure you that when I read this mantra with a large group of dark purple, with light purple frowny, dark purple smiley, fake a sense of positivity, frowny faces on the rock, all those things, I'm painting that picture in your mind. And then I attached it to what type of community I thought Northwestern was. Obviously, talking them up a little bit, like, this is a loving community, like we all love each other and everyone's gonna be there for you. And also tying it to what I wanna do in the future as a psychiatrist advocating for mental health. Now I cooked it, I cooked. The only thing that I would say to keep in mind was at the end, my last sentence. On the rock, this mantra can serve as a reminder to all Northwesterners that hardships and negative emotions are valid, but boring. You see how that was a pretty long sentence? You want to make sure that your sentences are easy to read and easy to follow. Luckily, I don't think that sentence was horrible to follow, but it was a long sentence, technically a run-on, and I could have done better, added some punctuation, and made it better. And little things like that just make everything just easier. It just makes the readability better. And that admissions officer is gonna be like, not only did they cook, but I can like read it well, and it just makes sense, and I don't have to like think in my brain what they meant by this. Like, you're feeding it to them, like they're not trying to like get it themselves. And I think that's the best thing. Like obviously these admissions officers are smart and they're good at what they do, but you want to feed to them your essays. You don't want them to have to like dig into what you mean, because once they have to dig into it, they're like, declining. So make sure your essays are readable, your sentences aren't run-ons, and have good grammar. Grammarly is free. I use that a lot. Shameless plug. I rated the Northwestern Paint the Rock essay 9.5 out of 10. And then the last essay that I'm gonna go over, it was a Harvard supplemental, but it was also a Northwestern supplemental, and also supplementals for like other schools, kind of like, I kind of like used the essay, copy pasted it, removed the university, like, I know it's taboo, I did it, and I got in. So, Harvard's prompt read, Harvard has long recognized the importance of enrolling a diverse student body. How will the life experiences that shape who you are today enable you to contribute to Harvard? And that was also a 200-word limit. So I wrote, Throughout my academic career, I have lived in many communities such as Nigeria, predominantly black, Dubuque, Iowa, predominantly white, Cary, North Carolina, predominantly Asian, and currently Carpentersville, Illinois, predominantly Hispanic. Connecting with someone's culture, speaking their language, or sharing common interests is a doorway to friendship. Companionship and camaraderie lead to growth and have been my main goals throughout my life across the globe. The multitude of cultures around me has directly influenced the slang I use and the music I listen to. The time spent immersed in these cultures has grown me into a personable classmate. If placed into a random Harvard classroom tomorrow, I'd be certain to walk out with a friend. Learning from others and collecting the pieces needed to complete one's puzzle have been a large part of my development. I believe the key to growth and change in the world is being able to embrace others who are different from you and respect every viewpoint that comes your way. Throughout my journey in life and higher education, I'll make it my goal to learn languages and skills that draw me closer to every individual I come across. Now, the essay could have been better, and the biggest thing that could have made it better was specificity. See, I was specific in the beginning. I was like, oh yeah, I've lived in many communities, Nigeria, Dubuque, Cary, Carpentersville, yada 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 yada. But then that was pretty much it. After that, I was kind of just saying cliche statements like, oh, companionship and camaraderie lead to growth and have been my main goals throughout my life across the globe. A great way that I could have made that personable, or not personable, made that specific, was I put a specific situation in which I have shared a common interest or tried to connect with someone else's culture. I said blanket statements like, oh yeah, like learning languages and listening to the same music. That wasn't specific at all, because on the other side, this person, this admissions officer, is reading it. They don't know who I am, so I just made a blanket statement. They still don't know who I am. I need to say something specific like, oh, connecting over Latino music, this and that. Or, oh, I learned this such and such language. Or, oh, I ate at such and such restaurant. And those were really surface level explanations or surface level statements that I could have wrote. Like, you need to dig deep. You need to dig deep for like these supplementals, because they are short on words, but that means every word you use has to be meaningful. And if you're using those words just for cliche statements or famous quotes that you think sound good, or just sentences like that, it doesn't really help you. Like, it sounds good in writing, but they're not judging you on how well you write. They're judging you on how much they want you to be at their campus. And ultimately, you have to realize that and put that in your writing. Now, I'm dogging on the essay. It wasn't that bad. It wasn't that bad. It was pretty cool. It was kind of like heartwarming, like, oh, like he like wants to connect with everyone. I really liked the part where I was like, if placed in a random Harvard classroom tomorrow, I'd be certain to walk out with a friend. I cooked with that. I could have went like a different route, saying how in each and every new school I went to, I always left with a lot of friends, and that I could have said different things that I didn't say ultimately. But you live and you learn, and that's why I'm here, to pave the way and show you guys what to do and what to not do. And I rated the How Will You Contribute to Harvard essay 7 out of 10. And that's it. Thanks for watching the video, guys. I loved making this video. I want to make more essay videos. Watch my other videos, watch my college reactions. Once I get on campus, I'm going to start making Harvard vlog content because I know you guys want that. But yeah, thanks for watching the whole thing. Peace.